All right, let's get into it. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're not just, installing some software. We are drawing up the blueprint for a massive enterprise-grade machine, one that's designed to manage everything from a single console. So let's start building.
So what does it actually take to do that? To manage, say, 50,000 devices from one place? Well, it takes power, it takes precision, and more than anything, it takes a rock-solid plan. When you're dealing with that many endpoints, laptops, servers, you name it, you can't just click next, finish, and hope for the best. No way. You need an architectural plan. And that's exactly what we're going over today.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll talk about the scale of the challenge. Then, we'll get our hands dirty laying the physical and digital foundations. After that, we'll bolt on all the essential parts that do the actual work, connect our machine to the cloud, and finally, we'll talk about what it takes to keep this thing running smoothly for the long haul. Look, in today's hybrid work environment, trying to manage a whole fleet of devices it's incredibly complex. Getting the foundation right from the very beginning isn't just a good idea, it's absolutely non-negotiable if you want to avoid massive headaches down the road. Every big project starts with a solid foundation, right? Well, for SCCM, that foundation is the server hardware and the operating systems you choose. Everything, and I mean everything, we build on top of this rests on the choices we make right here. So decision number 1, the OS. Now, you'll see older versions are technically supported for some of these rules, but honestly, you really want to be on Windows Server 2022 for your primary site server. That's your command post. This isn't just about having the newest shiny thing. It's about getting the longest possible support lifecycle and the best stability for the absolute core of your system. Okay, now for the hardware. Just look at the huge gap between minimum and what's actually recommended for an enterprise. I mean, could you get it running on 8 cores and 16 gigs of RAM? Yeah, probably. But in the real world, that is a recipe for disaster. It's just gonna crawl. For any serious deployment, you're looking at double, maybe even triple those specs. This is absolutely not the place to try and save a few bucks. And if you thought that was serious, listen to this. The database server is where the real power needs to be. Think of the database as the heart of the entire SCM system. It's constantly pumping data, inventory, status messages, reports, everything. Skimping on the database server is probably the single biggest mistake you can make, and it leads to a slow, painful system. The takeaway here is simple: go big on your database server. All right, our physical foundation is poured. Now it's time to install the brains of the operation. We're talking about Active Directory and SQL Server. This is the memory and the central nervous system for our entire management machine. So before you can even think about installing SCCM, you have to prep your Active Directory. This isn't optional. You are literally teaching your company's directory what SCCM is. You do this by extending the schema, which basically creates a space for SCCM to publish information so clients can find it. It's a critical first step. And the permissions you need for this step, well, they tell the whole story. Schema admin, enterprise admin, these are literally the keys to the entire Active Directory kingdom. This shows you that SCCM isn't just another app you're installing. It's a system that gets woven deep into the fabric of your IT infrastructure. It requires a massive level of trust. And it's the exact same story over on the database side. The account you use for setup needs to be a sysadmin on the SQL Server. It's not just creating a database. It's setting up security, managing its own data structures, the whole shebang. Our machine's brain has 2 really powerful halves, and both of them need the highest level of access. And here's a perfect example of the kind of precision you need. SQL collation. It's basically how the database sorts letters and characters. It seems like a tiny detail, right? But if you install SQL Server with the wrong one, any other setting, SCCM setup just stops. It fails, full stop. It's one of those small things that is an absolute, non-negotiable deal breaker. Okay, the foundation is poured, the brains are connected, now we get to the fun part. We start adding the components that actually do all the work, the arms, the legs, the tools of our management machine. So before we can even add the actual SCCM roles, we need to turn on the underlying Windows features that SCCM depends on. Think of this stuff as the plumbing and wiring for our machine. For example, bits is what lets you transfer huge software packages without killing your network. And IIS provides the web services that all the clients use to talk back to the system. Without these, nothing else is going to work. Now, of all the roles you're going to install, these 2 are the absolute bedrock. The management point, or MP, is like the traffic cop. It's the main point of communication, telling clients what to do and where to go.
And the distribution point, the DP, that's your warehouse. It stores all the applications, updates, and OS images you want to deploy. Every single client out there needs to be able to talk to both of these. In this day and age, no system is an island. So the next phase of our build is all about connecting our powerful on-premise machine to the global grid of the cloud. This is where we unlock co-management, which is the key to managing devices no matter where they are. It's a true game changer for the modern workplace, combining the raw power of SCCM with the incredible flexibility of the cloud. So just to get data flowing inside your own network, you need this carefully managed web of firewall rules. Clients have to be able to reach management points. The site server needs constant access to the SQL database, and everything needs to talk to the update services. This internal communication network is literally the lifeblood of the whole system. And you know what? That's just the beginning. That's just to get things working on the inside. To really modernize, you've got to look beyond your own data center and open up secure pathways to the outside world. See, to unlock those really cool modern features like co-management with Intune, you have to open up a secure channel to the cloud. That means your firewalls have to allow your system to talk to these specific Microsoft web addresses. This connection is what lets your on-premise powerhouse tap into the scale of Azure AD and the flexibility of Intune to manage devices anywhere on the planet. And don't forget, connecting to the cloud isn't just a technical job. There are licensing requirements too. To turn on these modern management features, your users and devices have to be covered by either Microsoft 365 or EMS licenses, and specifically the E3 or E5 plans. So, the machine is built, the engine's humming, but we are not done, not by a long shot. Now comes the most important phase of all, the ongoing maintenance, monitoring, and security that keeps this machine operating at its absolute best. A huge part of this is just basic operational hygiene. For example, you wouldn't believe how many performance problems are caused by antivirus software that's configured incorrectly. Getting those exclusions right is critical. Regular backups, that's your lifeline if things go wrong. And automating cleanup tasks for WSUS, that's the patching component, is essential to keep the system from getting totally bogged down. These aren't one-time tasks. They're the ongoing work that keeps the system healthy. And for any real enterprise system, you have to plan for failure. You just have to. A system managing 50,000 devices cannot be a single point of failure. That's where high availability comes in. You've got options, from the gold standard of SQL Always On, which gives you almost instant database recovery, to having a passive site server just waiting to take over. The goal isn't just to build the machine. It's to build a machine that can survive a crisis. So we've walked through the whole blueprint. Building this machine is a massive undertaking. It demands meticulous planning and precision every single step of the way. But the real challenge isn't just the initial build. It's what comes next. The deployment, that's just day one. The real question you have to ask yourself is, are you prepared for the long-term commitment of operating it, securing it, and evolving it? Because that is the true mark of a successful enterprise system.